Hello, everybody. It's Ron and Hope Unfiltered. So glad you are here today. Real, raw, relevant. What are you doing, Ron?
Thing wasn't turned on right. You know I like things to be in order.
Okay. You always have an issue with your drink when we start out. I mean, you either have a big mug, a Yeti, your cup's not on properly. You want a different cup.
I don't remember having
You're
any
a little
issues.
bougie
I don't remember having any issues.
Container that your water is in.
I come from a farming background. I'm like the least bougie person in the whole earth realm.
Okay.
But what are we talking about?
I don't know what you want to talk about.
You told me what we were talking about.
And you said no.
You said we got to do the 5 love languages, and I have to confess to everybody I forgot 2 of them, and you had to remind me. Okay, even if you read the book, stay around, because the book's.
Why are we
that book now?
It's very old. But why are we going to talk about this? Because it's very important to know what your spouse or the person you're dating.
It's important for me to love you your way.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give a marriage conference thing about that. You know, when I came home. When I went out for your first birthday and prepared everything, and you walked in and said, "Is this my birthday or your birthday?" You remember that?
Yes, because you made it all about you.
But I learned a lesson that night. That was our first year being married, and actually I had never thought about that till that time. And we were married in the 90s.
Let's tell them what you did.
We're going to tell them a lot of things. We're going to tell them how you proved your love to me.
It was my birthday.
Okay.
And then you come in and have it all sexy music going.
You go too quick. You got to make this thing like
on the bed. I'm like, dude, whose birthday is this?
I had pulled out a couch bed.
Yes.
Remember the couch out of bed?
Yes.
In our little apartment, I had pulled it out. It was so sweet. It was my first time married, and she was having a birthday.
He tried to do honeymoon on every occasion.
Wait a minute. I learned when we were dating what birthdays meant to her. My family did not celebrate birthdays. I only remember one birthday party. It just wasn't a big deal. Had a great family, but we just didn't do birthdays. We were a Christmas family.
I'm going to give you a Mickey Mouse birthday.
I went through dating our Hope's first birthday, kind of treating it like the way we do. And that was really a huge mistake because I didn't know it was kill the fatted calf and
better believe
ring on a finger and birth month and everything else. So it ain't birthday, it's birth weeks, months, and it can continue all throughout the year.
35 years later.
So I learned that the hard way. No, I've got that the first 6 months we were dating.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Obviously,
did.
You didn't.
That's when I had to learn it. 1987.
87 years ago.
1987, and your first birthday that I spent with you was January of 88. So that would have been when I learned my very difficult lesson.
Yes.
The hard way.
Okay.
So long and short of it is I later on through college did better. So by the time we got married, which was in 90.
You was ready to celebrate.
Yeah. So she had this day. She was in school. You was in school at Maryville College in Tennessee. And we were church planting. So I left the offices early that day and went back to the apartment and just thought I was being the best husband in the world. I cooked a meal. I pulled out, we didn't have a lot of bedrooms, so we had a bed in our couch. I pulled it out. Did I do rose petals?
Yes.
I don't remember doing like that, but anyway, I did.
You thought it was a Valentine's.
I did rose petals. I think I had on music.
I bet you did.
And what was that lady we always listened to?
Giving you the best.
What was her name?
What
was her name?
God.
I can't think of her name. And Freddie Jackson.
Oh, Lord.
You Are My Lady.
You are my lady.
That was the 2 we always pulled out on our little boom box that we had.
Yeah.
So I had the candles lit and everything was ready. So I remember, I don't know if I picked you up or what, but I remember I walked in with you.
Okay, wait a minute. Those of you who are listening, the candles are lit. Freddie Jackson's playing. The rose petals are out. The bed is prepared.
Yes.
Does this sound like a freaking birthday present? Or does it sound like anniversary or a honeymoon? Ronald. Ronald.
It was the best present I had to give you.
Yourself.
I didn't have no money, that's for sure. So I remember I can't remember details of where we matched up or where we met together, but we walked into the apartment that night and I had everything ready like that. And I remember you walked in and stood there and you weren't ugly. You didn't say nothing ugly, but you looked around and of course the room was set for things to come, of which were to come. And you said, is this my birthday or is this your birthday? And so without getting offended.
No, you probably got offended.
Without getting offended.
Yeah, you got offended.
Hope has a way of communicating through sarcasm. Underneath the sarcasm, there's a hint of truth that you need to receive. And so she got her message across. And I think ever since then, I've been probably the most bang-up birthday guy ever in the whole world. I do birthdays pretty good now. But I had to learn.
Yep.
So
that's what we're talking about.
Why did we tell you all that?
Yeah.
So why did I go through all that to get to this point? Not to be cliche, but the Bible says that we submit to one another in brotherly love. It's a mutual submission thing. Part of that mutual submission is learning that my love language may be different from their love language. And it is easy for me to love you my way.
Mm-hmm, because it's natural.
Yep. I love words of affirmation, and I love quality time. Now, you love quality time.
I do.
But I love affirmation, quality time, then touch, all that stuff. My gift giving is actually the bottom of mine. Hope knows, really, I don't even like surprises. Surprises make me anxious. I want to know, and then you get mad because I want to know. Hope loves to be surprised. Hope loves, it depends. If it's an expensive one, you want in on it. You want in on it. If it's, something smaller that I get you like to be surprised. But giving is your love language. Giving does not mean materialistic.
No.
Giving means when somebody goes out of their way to bring you a gift, it blesses you.
Yeah, it used to frustrate me so bad. People in the church would say, Pastor, I was out today and I was shopping. I saw these shoes. They reminded me so much of you. And I'm like, and did you get them? I'm like, if they reminded you of me, that must have been the Holy Spirit saying, get these for her. I said,
it's not always the Holy Spirit, baby. Why are you always trying to be spiritual?
Is an 8.
You're always trying to bring God into a gift.
Come on. That would frustrate me. I saw these shoes that reminded me so much of you. Or I saw this shirt that reminded me of you.
Well, that is probably one of the first lessons that you have to start learning out of the gate. And who wrote the love language book? Tim Beverly Hay? Was it them that wrote that? I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. I can't remember.
Can't remember.
Yeah, please.
It's been a long time.
Please don't quote me on that. Yeah, it was back in the 90s. I haven't read it since, but it made a mark on me then because it was right after that I got introduced to Gary Chapman wrote the book, the 5 love languages, and they do hold true.
Yes.
And so,
but the whole deal is in relationships.
Learning the language you speak.
Yes. Why? Because I love you.
Yep, exactly.
And I want you to feel my love.
Exactly.
You want me to feel that love. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, we hear love differently. And so if you really want that person to know how much you love them, you got to say it the way that they hear it. That's the whole
So mine's
goal.
Words of affirmation. What is easy for me to do to you? Because I do it all day.
Yes. He talks all day. His is words of affirmation. So he talks to me all day and says,
you look amazing.
You look amazing. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Oh, I wouldn't want to be married to anybody else.
30-some years into it.
Yep.
I still do it.
Just over and over and over. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love to hear it.
It fills your tank, but it's not your language, so to speak. So, but I come walking in, well, I got you a little something, babe. I thought this was cute and it looked like you. Oh, light up, don't
it?
Yeah, exactly right, because that's your language. Me, I know this is going to sound so boring. Give me a time with no phone and no TV and you in a room beside a fireplace. I'm good.
And the couch bed pulled out?
No, I've moved on. I've moved on.
You've moved on. You've become more mature in your love.
I've moved on from that because no need putting efforts into futile things. Futile things. I've learned to put my investment where there's a return. And there's not a good return in that.
Ron Carpenter.
If you came in and I had the couch pulled out now, you'd look at me.
Boy, please, what are you doing? I'd say get the vacuum out.
But I will take you to a cheap hotel every once in a while.
Ron Carpenter.
You remember that? I do. That's always a good thing to do.
You are skanky.
Let me tell you something. Don't always take them to nice hotels. Every once in a
Ron.
while, you got to pull in the Red Roof Inn.
No, you do not.
Yes, you do.
Holiday Inn maybe, but no Red Roofs.
Red Roof Inn, where you have to take the sheets and inspect them with a light, before you get on them.
No, we
That's
are
healthy.
not doing
That is
that.
healthy.
That is not healthy.
This is real, raw, and relevant, and I'm trying to tell the people the things that you really enjoy.
Well, we're going to take a break right here.
You can't go from this to Noom.
I want to slap you.
You can't go in from this to Noom. We need to keep rolling.
You said the Red Roof Inn. Oh, my God.
Wasn't there one of them in
Ron.
Greenville? Is one of them?
No, I'm not giving you a high five.
Why are you blushing?
I'm not blushing.
Yes, you are. You're flushed.
No, I'm not.
I sold you out publicly.
Oh, my God. No, you talking about your own self.
We're riding down the interstate, and if you see a Motel 6.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys.
And Sizzler.
That's a lie. A Sizzler?
Motel 6 and a
Ew.
Sizzler.
No.
Take you back to your roots. Don't ever get above your raisin.
That is not my roots. My roots would be Ryan's. Y'all don't remember Ryan's Steakhouse?
Sizzler put them out of business. We need to move on. We're not getting anywhere. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Well, we have to do a shout out to our sponsor, Noom.
We love Noom.
Yes, and I'm so grateful to report I've lost about 10 pounds. Thank you. Thank you, Noom.
All right, wait a minute. Here's my love language. And what I tell you this morning. I said, I could tell you lost weight, and I said, it looked amazing.
You did.
Damn.
You did.
But she wanted balloons. Go ahead.
A bracelet. Can you give me a bracelet to tell me how much you love that I've lost weight? But eating,
Can you tell my wrist is smaller?
Eating is a huge, huge, huge thing to overcome because sometimes we eat when we're bored. We can't pass up food if it's free. Have you ever been to those people that go to a buffet and it's free, all you can eat, so it makes you feel like you need to eat more and more and more? If the answer is yes, don't stress. Noom Weight can help you break that cycle and change your habits for the good. Listen, we all have different triggers when it comes to food. Some people eat when they're bored. Some eat when it's free. Some eat when they're depressed. Some eat when they're excited. You're out on a date, you want the dessert. We all have different triggers, but we've got to learn to be more healthy. And Noom has perfected it because it's psychology driven. It helps you recognize your triggers, also provides you with coaching and daily lessons. I love it. They say losing weight starts with your brain, and Noom has taught me so many ways to build healthier routines in my everyday life, which has helped me get closer to my health goals. To date, Noom has helped over 4.6 million people. That's a whole bunch of people lose weight.
Congratulations.
You can choose your level of support from 5-minute check-ins to personal coaching. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's schedule is different. So your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. Progress isn't just a straight line, and off days are totally okay. So Noom Weight will help you get back on track, help you understand your relationship with food because it is a relationship. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom Weight's psychology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com/Ron and Hope. That's NOOM.com/Ron and Hope to sign up for your trial today. And check out Noom's first ever book, The Noom Mindset, and dive deep into the psychology of behavior change. Available for pre-order wherever books are sold.
And don't forget the /Ron and Hope because we want them to know we're a good partner.
Yes.
And that's how you let them do that.
And it does work, guys.
Yep.
If you've tried everything else and it's not working, you need to try
Noom didn't ask me to
Noom.
say this, but what's one of the threads through all my teaching? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the truth that you embrace define your reality. That's with food. That's with everything. And, I never did have a problem being much overweight, but you remember one time my blood pressure and cholesterol, it was sky high. But I came from a family of ham and red-eye gravy, and that's what we did. And it took its toll, and it had to. And
They don't know what red-eye gravy is, baby.
That's when you take the grease from the ham or from the pork, and then mix in the flour and stuff, and all of a sudden you got red eye gravy.
What's the main ingredient for red eye gravy?
Fat.
No, Ron, you don't know. It's coffee.
No, well, everybody don't do that. You
take the ham, grease, put in your flour like you normally going to do gravy, and then you pour a little coffee in it, like even if it's cold, and that instead of using water or milk, and that's what makes it called red eye gravy. It's delicious with biscuits.
Where were we?
We're talking about love languages and going to a Red Roof Inn.
Tell them the story.
We are not going to a Red Roof Inn.
Proving your love to me.
Ron, this is horrible. I was an innocent, very impressionable little girl at 18
and I was
years
a little
old.
Boy.
No.
Anyway, I was a preacher.
We were dating.
I was a preacher.
So we were already in the relationship enough that we were saying, I love you, and we knew we were going to end up getting married.
We've been dating about 3 days, and you were telling me you love me.
Ron, God.
Go ahead.
Every night we'd go somewhere like Pizza Hut or McDonald's or Burger King, and we'd sit and you'd get 3 Whoppers or something like that. Yes, you would. So we're sitting there that night eating, and you said, Hope. You looked at me, you said, prove your love to me. I was like, okay, what?
It was joking. I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it's sultry.
Yes, and then you said, bite this hamburger. No. You said,
the French fry.
You said, I'm going to eat this French fry. And he took it out of his mouth, y'all, and it was a ball of goo. He said, eat it. You eat it. Prove your love to me. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, but I got to do it. And so I put it in my mouth and I ate it. And then I said, okay, here. I ate some hamburger and I pulled it out. I said, prove your love to me. And Ron, you said, I can't. He said, Hope, I can't do it. He said, I love you, but I can't do it. I said, I hate you, Ron. I just did this. I ate this nasty, gooey, slimy French fry mess, and you won't do it.
Man, we had great years dating, didn't we? They were fun. I wouldn't change them for nothing. Love languages. Let's go through the 5. Let's go through and help me because, like I said, it's been a while. But they are words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gift giving, and acts of service.
Yes.
Correct? Rate those for you.
Okay. Gift giving's number 1. Quality time would be number 2.
I'd say that. Service, I think, would be.
Acts of service would be number 3.
Yep.
Just top 3.
Yep. I would say that for you.
Yes.
So,
what about you?
No, we're going to do you first.
Oh,
you do
Lord.
Okay? This stuff is not scripted or rehearsed on purpose, so you can get it like this, real, raw, and relevant. All right? Something I do that really fills your love tank. And I may have learned it. I may not have done it, but I've learned it over the years. Something that when I do it, you may not say anything about it, but you feel it.
When we go on trips together, just anywhere, like we'll go to Tahoe or we'll go to Vegas or we'll go to Monterey or we'll go to Florida or just we'll go on trips together and spend time together.
What about when you see me cleaning up?
Oh, I love that now. Yes. When I see you cleaning up, washing dishes, straightening up.
Because that means a lot to your house in a certain order.
When I come home, if I've been gone preaching or if I'm on the East Coast and come back home. I clean up. That house, when I come home and the candles are on and the music's playing. And
it's clean.
And it's clean, the dishes are put up, that is everything.
Now that's a character flaw, dishes. Sometimes I'll do everything, but I hate dishes. I hate freaking dirty dishes.
Just put them in the dishwasher.
I just hate it. I mean, I'll vacuum, I'll clean it. I'll wash clothes, but I hate dishes. But anyway, I've learned to do them, but I try to make sure if you're gone, if it's within my ability to do it, to have the house clean, because I know you really, really love that.
I do.
Gift giving.
Yep.
What's the time where it really spoke to you, it really touched you?
Every time. I love it. Except when you go and you try to do sneaky things like you'll go to Victoria's Secret and ask them to give you an extra small pair of pajamas. That crap makes me mad. I'm not extra small.
I take Hope in there, and I get one of the ladies, and I'll pull up something. I'll pull up something I like, and I'll say, "Do you have this in an extra small?" And they'll just immediately look at Hope, and they get quiet. I say, "Yep, I want it to fit a toddler."
A toddler. Okay.
I'm still a man.
Yes,
I'm a
you are.
saved man, but I'm a man.
You are.
And all of this is directed at you, so aren't you glad about that?
Okay, so that makes me mad.
Mine, guys, let me speak from a guy standpoint. The Bible does put the extra pressure on us. I think I have spoken about this in one of our podcasts, about dwell with her with knowledge. The fact is, there is a discovery of your wife that God will put the responsibility on you to discover it, because they're a tad more complicated and there's a tad more buttons to push, and they feel things differently than we feel them. And so I did have to learn that, and I learned it all the way back at that first birthday. I remember that vividly. I remember the first birthday, I didn't do a whole lot. We were dating, and it hurt your feelings. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And you had to talk to me about it. And then the first time that I meant to do something, because I knew you liked it, but I did it my way. So this is learning, and this is evolving to understand. To say I love you is actually getting me out of my natural comfort zone. And then I'm having to be intentional, because we have a couple of ways we're the same way. Mm-hmm. I hear it through acts of service. When you cook.
You love that. When you cook,
how many times will I sit there? I mean, she's been cooking for me for 30-something years, but I'll sit there and I try to always say, "Baby, thank you. That was amazing."
And while you're eating it, you'll say, "I'd rather have this than anything restaurant has to offer."
I get so tired eating at hotel restaurants and being on the road and this and that and the other. When I come home and you got that meatloaf and mashed potatoes, come on.
Cabbage, cornbread.
Sometimes a little bit of fried squash. Shake. Yeah, a little bit of fried squash. Sometimes it's that beats everything. So I hadn't really looked at my number 2, 3, 4, and 5, but acts of service mean a lot to me too. Actually, gift giving probably would be one of my least. I enjoy gifts, but I don't think that's the time where I hear I love you. Physical touch is probably a strong 3, maybe running neck and neck with 2. I like touch. I told people I like your hand on my face. Why do I like that?
I don't know.
I like your hand on my face.
You like to hold hands.
I like to hold hands, but you're starting to like that.
In the morning, you want to hug.
Mm-hmm. Physical touch.
Yep.
I like to hug, and I like you to have big, thick pajamas on.
Size extra small.
When we hug.
But listen, this is key. You don't just know these. You don't just know it. You have to talk.
It's a journey.
You have to sit and say, "What do I do that says I love you? What could I do that would say I love you?" How do you hear it? You got to sit down and talk to your spouse, to the person you're dating, so that you'll know how to say it correctly.
Our vacation spot, which is, now that we live on the West Coast, is very short from here, is Cabo, Mexico. And there's some bathing suits that you wear that I hear I love you very
Ron, we are not talking about
loudly.
this. Y'all, see what I deal with?
Very loudly.
See what I deal with?
Yep.
Okay, move on.
So I hear it like somebody speaking in a speaker. And you come out in that. And then there's some bathing suits that you own that say grandma, and I hate those.
I love them.
I hate those. I hate those. I never thought I'd ever have a wife wear one with a skirt on it.
You never thought we'd be here?
No. Never thought anybody wear one with a skirt.
That's my holiness bathing suit.
There was somewhere with this thing I wanted to go, and it slipped my mind a minute ago.
Yeah, because you got to talk about Red Roof Inn and bathing suits.
Yeah, it does distract me a lot.
You need help.
No, I don't. It's very healthy, actually, to talk that way about your wife when you've been around them for going on 4 decades.
That's right.
Very healthy. So, as the Bible talks about mutual submission, submitting to one another in love, I think at the beginning, there's a little bit of crucifying of self that has to go on, and nobody talks about crucifixion of flesh and crucifixion of self and dying. Those are not popular topics in church realm anymore. But my dad always told me, I'll never forget it. He said, son, he said, the Bible says to take up your cross and follow him. And he said, a cross only has one thing. He said, it's to die on. He said, it's to die on. And there's some people that they love selfishly. They're going to love their way. They're going to love how they feel it, and they're going to love how they see it. And what they don't understand is what a selfish act that is, not to intentionally communicate with, not to intentionally go on the journey to find out. And that person may have not even known.
Right.
You know, but when I met you when I went to your first birthday, you hadn't read the 5 love languages.
No.
You know, we were in college. You may not even know what it was, but you did know that the fact that I did hardly nothing did not move you at all. And so this was a thing, and I had to learn to become intentional. I don't really enjoy going shopping by myself. But the fact is, you know, I know that there's some surprises that you're going to get for Christmas coming up. So I had to take a couple of days and go out and do it by myself. And the reason is because I love you, not because I enjoyed it, but because I love you.
Because you want me to have some prizes.
I want you to have some prizes when you get there on Christmas morning. But here again, intentionalize it. Intentionalize horrible traffic. Intentionalize, this got to be one of the biggest malls in the world here, and it's packed with people. But that's how you hear, I love you. And I have to learn that, and I have to crucify everything in Ron Carpenter that wants to just keep doing it my way.
You know, love gives. Love
And
by its
giving is
very
sacrificial.
nature is giving.
Right.
God so loved that he gave.
If you don't give, don't tell me you love, because I don't believe you.
And if it's not a sacrifice in it, God so loved that he gave, and he gave his best part. He gave his only son. He gave his everything he had. So when I say I love you, when I say I love my children, when I say I love my friends, you know, it's not even about just marriage. It's love. When you love people, you will sacrifice. It will cost you. You will be inconvenienced. Nothing is easy. You will have to get uncomfortable in love.
We got a marriage conference coming up in Monterey, California, the week of Valentine's, right? One of the topics that we talk about, Hope, is sowing into each other's field. You can throw the dates up there for everybody.
9, 10, 11. February 9, 10, 11.
February 9, 10, 11. We'd love to have you go to our website. You can register there. But one of the things we talk about is sowing into each other's field.
Yeah.
Okay? Got a funny story. I don't like to take much of the toothpaste out of the tube and share it anywhere else because I want them to come to that. But I'll tell you this one story. You remember, here, I'm telling you a story not to be funny. I'm telling you a story to illustrate it. When we were in our earliest of days, you know, we just did whatever we could. I know you're going to school. You came home in the evening and taught piano lessons and voice lessons. And I remember it seemed like I was running to some little church somewhere in the country to preach. It seemed like 2 or 3 nights a week, you know, and literally, you know, I'd spend $30 on gas and church would give me $50. You know, we're trying to survive. And, but I remember, because we were young and we were in love and we were passionate, you know, whenever I got home, those were good times. There's always I call it pastor appreciation. Remember that?
Yes.
It's like when I got home, you know, pastor, it didn't matter what time it was, you waited up for me and this and that and the other, and you were extremely affectionate and you'd show me how much you missed me, and those were amazing times. So I had that fixated in my mind that was the way it was going to be.
From here until eternity.
And I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I remember driving home and well, you know, I preached my guts out and they gave me $50. I went in the hole on this trip.
So Hope's going to have to make up for it.
But I know there's going to be pastor appreciation when I get home. And then we had Chase. Okay. Chase came in like
I don't
cruise
even know
missile.
the word to put on it.
A cruise missile with nuclear capabilities.
You know how most people have named their children little nicknames like, oh, little Judah Bear. You know what his name was?
Chasenator. Chasenator,
The
yeah.
Chasenator.
He never slept, and he was not an easy baby. And I mean, I remember the time we looked across the bed when he was in the middle fighting and throwing his fist and crying.
We said, what have we done?
And he was only a few months old, and me and you just looked at each
We're
other
like, what have we created?
Yeah, what have we done? And so long and short of it, he wore you out.
Yeah.
I mean, he wore you out. And I was still having to go. We didn't have any insurance or anything, so I was still having to go out. And I got these bills and preach. And I remember basically one of the first times after, we'd recuperated, you had gotten well. We'd gotten a little bit used to having a baby in our tiny little home. And I went out and preached again. So I'm driving home. What am I thinking?
Pastor appreciation.
Pastor appreciation. Okay. So I get back to our house, that little yellow house that we lived in. Not 890 square foot or something like that. Tiny little house. And I got back to the house. You didn't meet me at the door. Mm-mm. Okay. I had like a briefcase or a satchel or something. And I think I had like a change of clothes bag because I didn't want to drive in my suit. And I had them. And I remember I'm just sitting there. I got Daddy's home. The TV was running with like Barney playing on it. Toys everywhere.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
Baby, it was bad. I remember, like swings sitting over here. I remember several folded up diapers. You put them in a ball and set them there, and you just take care of the kid, and I'll come back and get the diaper later. I remember bottles were sitting up in the sink, and I remember, just stuff on the floor. It looked like there had been a war fought that day between you and Chase. And
probably was.
I took the satchel, and I remember I dropped them.
Ooh, that was sweet.
Yeah, to let you know, wait a minute now, Daddy's home.
Oh, that was sweet.
Daddy's home. So, I've been gone. I'm thinking I'm tired, and I'm thinking you wanting to see me just as bad as I'm wanting to see you, and that nothing's changed. But here again, I had to learn to be intentional. When I dropped them, nothing happened. So I remember going and seeing that you had gotten Chase to sleep, and I looked at you, and you were laying diagonally across the bed with all of your clothes on, and I'm going to tell them to go. I remember your face. I looked at it, and I told somebody it looked like your face was sliding off, and you literally drooling.
That's good. That's a
you
good
look like,
sleep.
I mean, TV's right. Like you just fell across the bed and said, I'll deal with the whole world later. Okay.
And that was my attitude.
And that was the way that I came with it that night. And I was aggravated. And Hope, you need a man that listens to the Holy Spirit, don't you?
Yes.
Because God spoke to me just as clear, and he didn't say thou'st and thouest and wouldest, and he didn't speak in King James language. He said, run, clean up this house.
Thank you, Father God.
Now, we're talking, I can't remember the exact, but I remember it was midnight, 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, because I would take those trips 2.5, 3 hours out in the country.
Well, I should have been asleep at that time.
And I remember sitting there looking at this colossal mess, and I've been gone all day. Like, God, are you serious? And he's like, clean up this house. And I remember I went and changed my clothes, put on my sweats and put on my T-shirt, and I remember vacuuming. I remember washing dishes and putting the bottles up, steaming them, doing everything they need to do to be clean. I remember picking up diapers, taking out trash. I remember all this stuff I was doing. And if I remember right, I got in bed when it was just about sunrise.
It couldn't have been that long because Chase didn't sleep that long.
Like I said, the details failed me, but I remember it was close to morning. So anyway, and it was real early in the morning, and I just went and laid down in the bed. You were sleeping. And you may have gotten up with him a time or two, I don't know, but you were sleeping at that point. And I remember probably being in bed about an hour, maybe 5 to 6, something like that. And you turned over and you tapped me. You woke me up and you said, did you clean this house? And I told everybody, I said, that's the point where I have to milk it a little bit. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And it dawned on me at that moment, I had spoken your language. You heard, I love you. You didn't hear I love you by me wanting to be intimate. You heard I love you, that I went around to every one of those areas which you normally and traditionally would have taken care of those. Mm-hmm. And I stepped out of my zone and I stepped into your world and did it so you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
That did something, and because you had to be exhausted.
Yeah.
But you turned over, and I told him, I said, after I spoke your language, you turned around and spoke mine.
Right.
Why? Because me initiating that shifted something in you. When I spoke your language, you easily speak mine. That's mutual submission.
Mutual.
Some of you say, well, I want her to love me back. Well, have you loved her way?
Come on, preach.
Okay? And, I love them, but I don't feel like they love me.
Yeah.
You need to target, how am I loving them? Because so many times we're saying I love you with our love language that they don't hear.
And we're staying stuck in the same cycles and conflict. And I'm going to have it my way. And I'm selfish. I want you. She never does anything for me. And he never does anything for me.
So we got the standoff right
so
here.
it's a standoff.
So I put the responsibility on the man to break the cycle.
Yep.
There's the standoff. And, I was telling you, I talked to somebody on the phone the other day, and marriage was a wreck. I mean, it was dangling by a thread. And I just hit the man, and I told him bottom line, I said, if this is going to make it, it's going to be up to you. I said, if she's going to get healed, it's going to be up to you.
Yeah.
I said, if you're going to come out of your anger and depression, it's going to be up to you. And I went, and the person just said,
because it's true.
And we talked to them not too long ago,
And
and things were
good.
changing.
Yeah.
But I just manned up and said, this is your responsibility.
Man of the house. Yes.
And so, we like to beat our chest and be the priest of the house and this and that and other. But the fact is, we have priestly responsibilities. And if there is ever, you don't ever, and you don't ever, somebody's going to have to break that.
It.
It's going to have to break because it just keeps rolling.
Yes.
And it's a cycle of blame, and it's a cycle of victim, and it's a cycle of woe is me. Somebody's going to have to say, I am going to serve you, and I'm going to love you your way, even if it means sacrifice on my part.
Yeah, and it will always require sacrifice
Always.
on your part, because Jesus is our example.
But can I tell you something? It was intentional for a while.
Then it becomes normal.
Then it becomes natural. Because I love you so much, and I know I am so acquainted with what moves you. I'm moved to do it.
Yeah.
Without it being a crucifixion and crucifying my flesh. I want to do that.
Yeah. I
get, sometimes you have to make me quit spending because I get great satisfaction. And I'm like, I want to do something. You're like, I didn't come to the mall. I just want to look at Christmas trees and drink a cup of coffee and hold your hand. But I'm wanting to do something for you, because I know that that's your language.
Okay.
I don't know if we've helped anybody today. Do you think we help anybody when we get crazy like this? Dave's been a little crazy.
This right here, if you'll implement this in your relationships, it changes everything.
We can't lay hands on you and make this happen.
No, this is just a
decision.
choice.
It's a decision.
It's a choice.
It's a decision that you make.
So good, Ron.
Life is choice driven, and these decisions can change things. in a day.
Yeah. And
Start
we'd
changing
love for
things
you
in a day.
guys to come get more information at the marriage conference. Oh, so good. In Monterey,
I've
California.
been to a bunch of them. I'm not going to lie, because we've invested over 2 decades in this. It's one of the best packaged marriage conferences
We only have
I've ever been
room,
to.
I heard, for about 80 more couples. So 80 couples, and it's filled up. So
It's a total of 350, 400 couples.
I think it's about 400 couples.
About 400 couples, and we got room for 80 more. We would love for that to be you. Don't matter where you live or where you come from. Fly on in.
Drive.
It's a
Be with
beautiful,
us.
beautiful area in California, and I think you will leave. It'll change things, and you'll say it's a great investment that you have made.
Listen, if you've liked this podcast, go listen to all of them, but be sure to subscribe to our podcast.
Subscribe.
Push the button. Subscribe so that they can be delivered to you every Thursday. And then if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like and share. Like and share. You hear me? What did I say? Like and share.
That really helps us if you do that.
We love you so much. Until next time, Ron and Hope Unfiltered.
God
Real,
bless you
raw,
guys.
relevant.